Hello and welcome back to the OPL. We just saw Bombers in emphatic style, double banner of command minions, steamrolling the base of Sin Gaming. Still Spawn, still Agent, bringing in you some good games today. I'm actually enjoying this.
Yeah, 100%. We had some exciting stuff. Game 1 of the day was just like...
It really set the tone.
What? Yeah,
I was
really
incredibly happy with how Game 1 played out because I thought every game just like stompy 25-minute victory. And we've seen a couple. However, we also saw a Clown Fiesta, which I'm a massive fan of.
Absolutely. I like Steamroll. You know why?
Why?
Because Cannon Creeps now with the banner and the Baron. They like got the little wheels just chugging away, you know, just rolling through the base, destroying turrets, structures here and there. But we're already into Champ Select.
Certainly are. And as we were heading into the studio, I can't give you the exact words that Jules used. However, was delivering a fiery pep talk to one Dream from Sin Gaming that had a couple of explicits in it. And honestly, trying to fire up his young AD carry.
Yeah. Let's see if it works. Game 2,
you know
Sin.
Dream very well.
Yeah, they
Is
need to
Dream
turn
the
it
kind of person that you can, you know, give a fiery talk to
I
and he'll rise to the occasion?
I don't know. I've never like been on a team with him, so I don't know how he functions in a team. I know him as in like I've spent some time with him, like he's a good guy, duo here and there, but I feel like I don't know him in like a competitive environment, so I'm not sure. Maybe he is, because there's two types of people. There's like the hard-ass coach that's like, you're late, like everyone's running laps and like everyone gets punished, and that's the coach that like can be effective for some people. Then there's the nice guy coach that can be effective for others. So
And what do you like?
I hated, absolutely, like if some dude is late to like basketball practice and then I have to run laps, like that's just bollocks. That's stupid. I hated that.
Nah, I'm a big fan of hard
No.
coaches. However, let's not get Juice's. Let's not get Bryce's opinion anymore because it's really not valid. It's going to be Jarvan Kazak's Camille banned away by Sin Gaming. So 3 jungle bans. By Bombers, 3 jungle bans towards Juice again. Skarner as well as Talia. Alistar taken away. Ezreal, Braum, Tristana. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, but this leaves Sin in a little bit of a hole, I think, because they locked into both of their bottom lane champions. And you see the Bombers are going for the same strategy. Obviously, Skarner was banned away by Sin. That was different in Game 1, but there's probably going to be a similar amount of jungle bans. And they're going to have to take a jungle answer round 3, which means Bombers potentially, they can lock in a solo lane. Like the Gnar, they could have locked in mid lane, and it means either Sin are going to get to choose to put Juves on something like the Kindred or something that far down the tier list.
I think it's strange they took Tristana. Because you could have gone Braum Sejuani. Guaranteed a stronger jungler. And then still taken Tristana. However, obviously wanted the rise on third side red. Expect a Cassiopeia ban.
And this is exactly what I expected. You have to take a solo lane here. They don't actually opt into the counter pick of Gnar or anything like that, but it means another 2 jungle bans might just come out.
So I want to give credit. I think it was Azael who said it. He said that Rise in solo queues win rate went up from 42 to 47%. And Rise, by the way, is a bad solo queue champion. If you're in my games at the moment, don't pick Rise. We will lose. Like, he just doesn't perform well in solo queue. However, he's good in pro play. At Worlds, he was like 38% in solo queue and was still getting picked every game. So I feel like right now, the items, especially given the fact Ceres is just a rush with 20% cooldown reduction, we put that Ceres and Morel and Omicron into one item, so we now spikes it 2 items. It's just so massive, and you can see straight away they ban away the 2 counter picks.
So it makes a lot of sense from Sin Gaming there. As we expected, what will be the last jungle ban?
Is there really another one, or do they take Sion off the board?
No, Jax, okay, they take that one away. Yeah, I was going to say, do they take away Sion? Because I feel like Praedyth did have pressure in the Gnar matchup for the majority of the early game. He was shoving in. That gave Juves a side of the map to play for. Unfortunately for Sin, it wasn't enough, and they couldn't get it over the edge, but it will just be a similar matchup for the top laners here.
We see Sion picked up potentially early because Team Liquid Academy today played at middle lane.
Yeah, Jesus.
Don't want to play Rise into Sion.
Yeah. Rise top, Sion mid, let's go. Let's see how it goes. Well, let's give it a crack.
It actually makes a lot of sense into an AP mid laner. Because he's very hard to harass out of lane.
What did he build first item, by the way?
He went Banner of Command.
Yes! Banner of Command, there we go. Love it. Love it. Will be the second Shen we've seen today.
That's actually, I like this because Sleeping obviously wants to play a lot more aggressive. We saw Tiger already do very well. There's going to be a Kassadin pickup for Luch, a champion also that benefits from Ceres, because you can go, you know, tier into your Rod of Ages rush, into Ceres, once again, gives you kind of your 3-item spike at only 2. And you said we weren't going to see it. Oh, come on.
Go Warwick. give it a crack. Maybe they just go back to the Kindred. Choo-Choo's was saying on the couch it wasn't the end of the world there. Juves looked fine in the early game, and kind of the game collapsed around it.
In saying that, I obviously work quite closely with Choos now, with Aaron. He is a big fan of everything comes down to execution. He thinks like lots of things are viable in League of Legends. He just thinks you have to play it well.
Yeah.
And I kind of agree. It is true. One tricks exist for every champion in the game. Like people are like, Aurelia sucks. And then Aurelia will carry you is like top of the solo queue ladder in North America at the moment.
You're like, man, Aurelia's real good.
Yeah.
Hey, that's pretty good. But the Kassadin, for Luch, I feel like stylistically it matches up pretty well. He's the kind of laner that just wants to sit in his lane. We talked about Shock earlier today, and that he played his laning phase fairly selfishly. Luch is a player that does that as well. Seb doesn't get a lot of help in the jungle, to be honest, from his mid laner. He just wants to farm above the clock, and he's very successful at it. He was Corky like 30 CS above the time frame.
Well, I was going to say, Luch has the lowest kills pre-15 minutes and the highest CS by 12.
Yep.
He takes 2 extra creep waves and is the most non-interactive pre-15-minute mid laner we have.
If you can get a non-interactive Kassadin game for the first 15 minutes, you're loving it. That is absolutely what you want. He has no wave clear, will just be perpetually shoved in by the Rise, but will just want to be able to farm that one out, get his items, and then Kassadin is one of those champions that you kind of like start at a negative. And then if you ever get even in the game, or if you get ahead, like you just snowball so incredibly hard. If you get a losing team fight, and you expect him to go something like Comet into a Precision Tree to get Presence of Mind, and he can just reset in team fights, infinite mana.
That's what you want. You want the kill, because Presence of Mind on level up, but as well as kills, is just allows you to jump around. As we're onto Summoner's Rift, Game 2, it will be the Bombers taking on Sin Gaming. Sin really need to win this one for some momentum. Bombers trying to use it to continue their run towards playoffs.
But we do have Laura once again standing beside the coach of the Bombers, Windows Monkey.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm here with Windows Monkey. Now, last week, the Bombers were able to pick up their very first 2-0 of the split. How's that win affected their motivation coming into this week?
I think it was definitely a relief to finally pick up that win against Tectonic. I think our motivation throughout the split's been really good. Everybody seems to be enjoying practice and just getting better as a team. So, yeah, I don't think we really needed the win to stay motivated, but it definitely has helped out the environment.
In this game, and also last game, you put all of your bans towards Juves in the jungle. Do you think he's their key to success?
Yeah, definitely. He's like a big center of their team, right? The team really seems to play around Juves, and when he gets going, the team gets going, and when he doesn't, their team doesn't get going. So I think it was a good strategy.
And we've got Kassadin coming out this game. How do you think he goes into Rise, and can you explain to us what he brings to your team's composition?
I mean, Kassadin's really strong into the Rise matchup, and he'll have a lot of pressure against the Rise in the mid game once he gets into that split push. Yeah.
Well, best of luck with this game, and thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
He thinks he's strong, however, he is just being ganked level 1 by Kuden. Flash has been burnt. They will be able to force him out of lane.
He's also gone super greedy Spell Thieves. No Corrupting Pot, no Dark Seal or anything like that. Just gone straight up Spell Thieves, so this will be probably the first Eye of the Watcher mid lane.
However, Dream, what are you doing? Will be ignited as well. You can see he's just getting smacked down. Kuden gonna have to potentially burn the flash himself. Dream, just walk through lane.
And that's the trade-off. Braum goes mid, burns the Ignite level 1. You're going to lose all priority in the bot lane, but obviously they opted in. Dream didn't want to give up access to the lane there. Got forced up the river and just fights too early. Kuden was nowhere to be found, loses his flash and all of his HP.
I feel like Dream shouldn't have lost it. I feel like if you are going
to lose some creeps.
Yeah, just walk through lane. Going to push into you. You're probably going to get some solo experience anyway. Kuden's the one that really misses out there. And you can see Luch, he actually sticks around, just burns 2 charges of his potion. Has gone Spellbook.
Yeah.
Will just be able to TP back to lane. Doesn't lose anything, really.
And that's the big thing. That was a pretty ballsy play at level 1 for Sin, but Luch had the cleanse, and he didn't actually cleanse out of the root, out of the CC from the Braum, because he wants to hold that one to TP back. He knew he wasn't going to get
looking
killed.
For this one. They stop the recall as Juves just flash in. He does. However, now he takes a turret shot, has to flash back, and Seb should just be able to pick up a free kill. Where is the flail? There it is. Hits both sides. However, good rotation from Bedoing will keep his jungler safe.
No Q available for the Sejuani, so it means Juves barely holds on to his life there. As we mentioned, Spellbook out of the Kassadin means he's going to burn his cleanse, swap that over to the TP, and then just come back to lane with the Dark Seal. Got that extra sustain. Also has biscuits. Not to mention, obviously, something we haven't really touched on in the inspiration tree is the fact that they've removed the extra potion duration from elixirs, from biscuits and pots, and it's now actually its own independent rune. So if you do go into the inspiration tree, even secondary, which we saw in 8.2, 8.3 meta, everyone had a stopwatch. So everybody kind of had that extra random buffer.
Gang, hate to cut you off. He's going to actually fall down here nearly 100%. Already burned the flash. Is very quick. No flash available. Does the Gnar cheat down? Are they able to pick this one up? No, they're not. So Bedoink lives. And that roam from Rosie actually means right now that Dream, who was 20 to 4 CS, will be able to catch up a little bit.
Not to mention Kassadin only level 3 and doesn't have a point in his E, so had no slow there. Could have potentially caught up even if he had a rank 1 slow and did less damage with the Q. He could have like caught up for enough for an auto attack, but 2 points in Q means he doesn't actually get the kill. Bedoink burns his flash, but the 3-man gank doesn't net them in a kill. And as you mentioned, Dream catching back up.
Comes back to lane and already has burned a potion stack, so doesn't wait for the full here. Was worried his wave was going to crash or something there. I actually think that's just a misplay from Bedoink. Probably should have held it a little bit longer. Juves gets his first Mar, and now going to be able to spot out Seb. Can he tumble forward, get an auto attack? He can.
No red buff though, means he won't be able to stick around on the Sejuani, but he will be contesting this camp.
I like it. I mean, right now they've got priority bottom lane because Shen's roam, and also mid lane just because it's a Kassadin, so you're always going to have it.
Not even to mention, pre-level 6, if Kassadin did somehow have priority, he doesn't want to come.
Yeah.
He's going to do absolutely nothing. Juves can literally just walk away from a flashless Kassadin. Level 5 right now, doesn't have the Rift Walk yet, so...
And this is one of those situations where I agree that Kassadin actually is a good matchup into Ryze. So I'm not going to debate that fact. However, I think in the current meta, your jungler, especially a tank into carry jungler, cannot have a Kassadin mid. So if you are tank versus tank, you can have Kassadin. Because the counter jungling's slow and stuff like that. But Nidalee into Sejuani, all these matchups, Kindred into Sedge, just means that the Sedge is going to get slapped.
Which is exactly what's happening. Juves just constantly invading. Seb takes away his Raptor camp, and not just takes away the camp, Seb's still kind of stuck around to try and contest.
Yeah, took all his health.
Yeah, so he takes all his health, has to actually reset again, fills up his refillable potion stacks, but then kind of trots off
Juves
topside.
coming mid lane. Luch will be stunned up for the maximum duration. Where's the pressy attack? Out it comes right now. Huge damage. First blood picked up for the Kindred.
And that's going to be the first blood. Over to Juves. Can significantly better start game 2 than he had in game 1. Also going topside. His marks just spawned over to the Gromp, and Praedyth has priority.
And you can see right now, Rosie tried to stop the freeze coming out, could not, so Tiger has to come back into the lane. Even though Dream as well as Kuden were set behind, things are starting to kind of piece together. Don't get me wrong, 29 to 49 CS, that sucks.
It does.
But if you can get the Kindred far enough ahead of the Sejuani, he's just going to continually run into the top side of the jungle again.
Yeah, 100%. Already up 700 gold. Just from that first blood and the camps alone. So we're very early into the game, only 6.5 minutes in, so the gold lead looks kind of negligible. Rosie
trying to do the same thing right now.
Yeah.
Does manage, no he doesn't. So that creep will die and it will push back in. However, Dream says, who cares? I'm just going to shove this one to the turret too.
Yep.
Rosie potentially looks for a taunt, does manage to land it. Now Dream going to take a lot of harass. Aftershock going to come off as well. This full wave will be caught by Tiger. Can they make it hit the turret? They can.
They can, but that does mean the Tiger gets the full wave. Obviously, Shen, one of the best supports, and this is not really a mechanic you like think about when drafting a support, but he's one of the best at holding the wave, because you can hit the dodge field, you have actually CC to threaten the AD carry. So he holds the wave, negates a lot of the damage, and then that means Tiger gets the full wave, not just a few range minions, so good stuff from him.
We just saw Praedyth do something that I think is really underrated right now. Able to ult the wave. Doesn't have to burn the TP to get back. Used his earlier, obviously. So he got an extra shop in there. And that means that he's still got pressure. Because Sion ult at this stage of the game clears the whole wave. Allows Juves to come in, do some counter jungling of his own. And denies that blue buff from Kassadin, who at this stage of the game really needs it.
And that's the thing, right? Can they hold on to their own blue buff at the same time? They need to be able to get priority bot side. And then Juves needs to be able to path down there. But Seb, for the most part, he's just going topside his jungle. He's not going to find a blue buff there. He's not going to find a Gromp. Only one camp up there. Got to be pretty slow setting up any sort of invade because they do have bot priority right now.
Luch actually used his ultimate on that wave to try and take some CS. Got chunked out even further. This is going to be a second teleport back mid. And I don't think this is the correct build on Kassadin. He's gone Eye of the Watcher. If he goes tier, it's going to be delayed. If he doesn't go tier, he's going to be denied 20% cooldown reduction. And we can see right now with him back, they're going to actually go for a play here, bring in 2 members as Bedoink as well as Juves defend their blue buff successfully.
Yeah, of course, the upgraded Eye of the Watcher out of the Spell Thief into that Sidestone. When he procs the quest, we'll have those extra wards. We'll have 4. So kind of negating the Tracker's Knife nerf when you have a Sejuani going
But
Red
Kassadin's
Smite.
a late game monster.
Yep.
He
But
does
also,
so much damage. I just don't understand the purpose of it. It just seems like a conflict in identity. If you're a Karma who's like team fighter and stuff like that, doesn't really need items to have utility, sure. But Kassadin needs like 3 or 4 items.
Oh, double taunt coming out. Nice buffer out of Dream. Means he's going to be safe. But
big engage actually coming out. Juves is here already. Ignite down on Rosie. Juves has flash. Oh, doesn't even need to burn it. He's just honestly going to wander in here. Flash out of Kuden to get away. Juves picks up another kill. Can he continue to chase? No, he doesn't need to.
Backs away. Rosie actually does so much damage. Ignite ticking means Kuden has to back away.
Seb is here. Teleport's not available, however, so just going to keep Tiger safe from a dive.
Yep, just going to shepherd his AD carry there, pick up the wave, but back to the Kassadin, right? I feel like maybe the train of thought is, look, I'm not going to have any priority in the matchup anyway. I'm just going to farm under my turret, so I can opt in for a negative. I'm like a negative lane, right? Like I'm going to sit back, I'm going to get shoved in, and I want to scale.
Yep.
But then you also opt in for like a negative item build, and it's kind of greedy to the extent that you're setting yourself behind even further than the matchup would kind of guarantee.
Yep.
But then you get that extra vision, obviously, for the late game. But, I mean,
sure, but
pretty greedy.
He's 20 CS down and, in my opinion, wasted 1,900 gold.
Yep.
So now they're losing complete control, not only of top side of the map, but Rise was able to ult down into bottom side of the map, save his blue buff for Juves. Now Juves potentially going to look for a dragon. No, with bottom lane getting shoved in, does just need to go for a reset there.
Does back away, but this is maybe the game where we see the Kindred pop off. We saw game 1, had real rough, didn't get any marks to his name. Couldn't really get any sort of impact on the map, fell behind early and then really never got back into it. But so far, able to steal away multiple Raptor camps from Seb, is ahead in CS, has 2 kills already.
Teleport coming in bottom lane. This is very cute, but Doink will be in and behind. Rosie's going to be tagged up. Do they just look for Tiger? Can he get out?
Oh,
he
no.
can get out. Rosie gets out as well. Split focus from Sin.
That's a big expenditure from Sin. They burned the TP down bot side. It wasn't actually a very long TP, so Praetor does hover down to kind of stall out the mid wave. Luch would have been able to push that one in, but because he has priority top, floats it down mid. They hold that wave for the time being. Might just give them access back to the Mountain Drake.
Yeah, exactly right. Has been warded here. Juves takes a lot of damage from it, however, also does it very quickly as Kindred. So you can see bringing over a couple of members. I think they should actually be in the pit, not just walking around the jungle, but eventually Juves will take this one down.
Yep, he will. Will get fairly low. Oh, actually, does have to burn the ulti. The dragon isn't in range, so he will be completely fine here. Kuden just going to jump over them, give him the resist, but a little bit late. But I feel like floating down bot side, the TP wasn't the worst thing in the world. Because you have to think about the start of the game. Dream being 1 HP, no heal, sorry, no flash, but was just so far behind. Now, still within 20 CS, but when you're 20 CS down and you're like 20 to 40, you're literally half. 80 to 100 doesn't seem so bad. He also opted in for the cull.
Also scales a lot better.
Yep. So I feel like Sin, for this early game, Juves has got himself a few kills, and then they've kind of used the priority top to float mid and mid to float bot to kind of shore up the weakness on the map for them so far.
Completely agree with you, and I think that, you know, whilst they trade topside objectives, you know, that Rift Herald will be picked up. Mountain Drake at this patch, I feel like cannot be understated how important it is.
Yep.
We just saw turrets melt last game. We've seen Baron become such a large focus. You get 2, 3 Mountain Drakes. As they actually jump in onto Tiger here, Tiger will look to return some damage. He actually wins that trade.
Yeah, level down on Dream, and he takes the brunt of the minions as well. Something real quick I want to note. Kuden has the Dematerializer, and he had it last game. He held on to 1 stack towards the late game to deal with the banner minions. But I feel like if you're going to hold on to stacks, like why 1? That feels too little. That's literally 1 banner you can get rid of. You saw Bombers game 1 picking up 2 and using them at the same time. So he's kind of like half-arsing the counter pick, right? Like you have the Dematerializer to be able to just instantly pop a banner minion.
Especially because their lane was so boned. Like he hasn't used it to get priority and like roam somewhere. As well, Seb actually going to be jumped on here. We'll hit the blast plant.
And that's the biggest thing you see it for supports. You see like an Ali like popping a cannon to get the wave shoved 3 seconds earlier so he can go mid. But
by Juves uses another Seb leash to be able to pick himself up a camp. Bedoink looking for some damage onto Luch. Does have the happy feet right there. Turns around, potentially looking for some in response.
All right, Luch looking a lot more safe in this matchup right now. Has both summoners available. The TP, obviously, to get into bot lane or top if he needs to. But with that flash, level is only 1 down and kind of looking like he can test the wave a little bit more. Sitting on level 9, has scaled up to some extent, but hasn't completed the quest right now. So doesn't have any wards, but to be honest, you mentioned the 20% CDR that he's missing out of. It's really only 10, because the Spell Thief upgrade Eye of the Watchers does give you the 10%.
Yeah, certainly does.
So it's not the worst thing in the world.
You're really glass half full today. I like it.
Yeah.
Positive Paul.
Positive Paul. I'm always positive Paul. Come on.
You changed your name, mate. You're not anymore. As Rosie gets tagged up here, we'll take a little bit of damage. And you can see now Tristana starting to get a little bit control over the wave. It's not going to push in, but, I mean, it's at least fairly neutral.
They can push it in, but not crash it, right? They don't actually ever get an opportunity to hit the turret. Juves finally hands over a blue buff to Luch. The last one was stolen away, so this is probably the first one of the game so far.
Luch's turret is at 50% health, and they're actually pinging out the fact they can dive bottom lane. Look how far Tiger and Rosie are off that.
Ulting the wave as well.
Yeah.
Realm Warp.
Trying to
go to the bot lane.
We'll see whether they can get anything. Realm Warp down. Very nice flash tag from Kuden, as well as the ultimate. Kuden, take a bow. That is perfectly played.
Absolutely. Tiger still had the flash as well. Doesn't choose to use it. Could have got out of the ulti there, but Kuden latches onto him. He goes down. Can they get first brick off this?
Certainly looks to be the case. I mean, they pop Rift Herald top lane. However, Sion should just be able to ult back to that one. And remember, he can kick the Rift Herald away, whilst this is a 50% HP turret.
With a Tristana as well. They're just going to race this one down. 3 versus 2 members, and they're going to get it first. It's going to be first brick going over to Sin to match up with their first dragon as well, the Earth. Gold lead in their favor. But Cull's approaching completion for both the AD carries here. 8 stacks on the Ezreal, 12 on Dream. Oh, that was a bit weird.
Yeah, it certainly was.
He's a Void monster. He can travel. Oh, sorry, she can teleport around.
Yeah, she can do whatever the heck she wants.
Yep.
Strong, independent Void monster. As we see right now, the gold lead, 1,300. You would expect it to be a little bit higher. Credit to Luch for very much equalizing CS in what looked to be a losing matchup. Now has a Rod of Ages.
Fairly late Rod of Ages. You see it's matched on Bedoink. He's obviously already had it for 4 minutes, so has those 4 stacks. So will reach peak performance significantly earlier than Luch will. But, I mean, it doesn't really matter as long as it doesn't net them an advantage in that 4 minutes. If Luch can kind of catch back up, Kassadin late game monster. I mean, Ryze is no slouch, but definitely the scaling across the board is fairly even for the most part. I feel like Bombers, it's going to rely on the 1-3-1 setup. They mentioned it, Windows Monkey, in the interview, and I feel like we haven't seen too many 1-3-1 successfully set up in most recent weeks, especially from a lineup for the Bombers.
I actually can't think of a 1-3-1 that's been successfully set up. Even the Direwolves have been playing more 1-4.
Yep. 100%. I feel like in the most recent weeks, Chippy's has kind of been staving off pressure, and he's been like gracefully losing lanes.
Flash forward, actually hit. In jumps to Tristana. Luch just dodges out on that door. Burns the flash, burns the Rift Walk, and does get back to his turret.
And you can't overstate how important the dodge on the Braum Q was. Dream had flash. If that one lands, Kassadin slow, they can block the Braum passive.
However, still looks like this turret's going to become under fire. Rosie looking for a flank. Do you really want to fight this 5v5? I think the answer is no. Maybe it's yes. They get Ryze. That's going to be the Kindred ulti down already in teleports. Kratos on the back end, sleeping also here, but doing so low that they can no longer continue this fight.
Sleeping lands, and he immediately turns it to Mini. Kuden forces.
What the heck? Tiger goes forward. Will actually maybe cost Lucci his life. Reset, where is it? That is a Sion freight train burning the flash. In goes Rosie, gets a 2-man taunt, but the door comes up, and now all of a sudden, teleport coming back out of Ryze. They must disengage.
Yeah, the overstay from the Bombers looking for too much. They bite off more than they can chew. Bedoink actually returns to the play, and what looked like a good engage out of Seb, they get onto the Ryze, but they just can't quite kill it. So many...
flash over the wall from Sleeping, looking for it. Gets the heal out, but now they're like, hey, dude, let's tango. No, let's not tango.
Oh, no, let's absolutely not go into that one. In between 4 members, that would have been a big taunt coming out of Rosie, but it's pretty interesting. You have to think he mishandled his claws, you know? You want to throw the person into the wall, but he threw him into mid lane and then was like, nope, I'm getting out of here.
Insane.
No, thank you.
They do start up the Dragon, which is an Infernal, which on something like a Kassadin is going to mean an awful lot as the game progresses. So credit to Bombers to be able to at least pick up the objective after a lost team fight.
Yeah, gold lead in favor of Sin. But we're going to see this once again. You mentioned Tiger actually goes forwards there. He's into almost melee range of Kuden, and they turn it around. You see Bedoink on the top side actually basing right now. was a nice flash out of Tiger to get out of the Sign ulti there. If he goes down, this fight is completely wiped for Sin. And here comes the channel on the TP. Praetor just still being useful despite being on 2 HP. And they just get themselves a mid turret in the end. Of course, it was traded with the Infernal, but gold lead does go over to Sin.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, Sin are up 2,500, but really that is the value of the turrets at this stage of the game. Juve's looking for the camp, will be able to pick it up. That's another mark to his name. How many is that?
7.
Wow, that's a lot of marks, actually.
Yep. I mean, he's got 3 kills as well. I feel like 2 out of 3 of them were successful, like marked kills.
Yep.
So has those as well, not just the camps.
And Juves are up here. They're going to bring Rise over as well. They're going to look for the play. You can see that they tag him up. Sleeping going to go down in mini-Gnar form. So much damage. Big ultimate coming across as well. In-drum stream, able to get the reset. And now all of a sudden, where are you going to go, Seb? Has to flash away. Dream again goes forward. Tiger able to pick up a kill onto Juves. And they just cannot take him down. No, eventually they do. Bedoink is still taking up the turret. Dream jumps in. Another reset achieved. And Sin absolutely whooped their bum.
And Tristana is sitting on 3 kills right now. We're talking about the reset's potential out of Kassadin, but Tristana right there, he just calculates the damage onto Sleeping, barely gets that one. And the Bombers are kind of baited in one by one. Tiger once again ease forward very aggressively, and then that costs him his life. Sin, again, taking down. That was 2 turrets and a 1 team fight. They're sitting on 4, and their gold lead explodes to about 5,000.
Exactly right. And this is a stage of the game where... Oh, actually, let's go through this fight again.
Yeah, we see it again. Obviously, the Taunt and the Gap Closer come out of the Sejuani, so they don't actually have a lot of CC here. Dream perfectly calculates the auto E and the ulti, knocks away the Gnar. They do get the reset. Tiger is the next target, honestly. He's about to E forward. He does get a kill. He kills Juves in the back end of that, but Brawn passive applied. Rosie tries to save him, but it's just way too little, too late.
Yeah, and I feel like that is perfect play out of Bedoink. Knows how many turret shots he can have to get back out in case Kassadin looks to teleport or something like that. And what I was going to say is, this is generally the stage of the game, 20 minutes in, where you're like, let's take our AP mid laner and put him against the guy that's built all armor, because we'll do damage. And then Luch kind of says, well, guys, unfortunately at this stage of the game, I don't do AP or AD damage.
I don't do damage.
So,
I have a Sightstone, though. I got wards.
I'll really ward up good, but...
guys, don't fight topside. I'll give us a lot of vision down here. Unfortunately, that's pretty rough. And, I mean, the wards don't mean anything if you can't actually place them. 5,000 gold lead.
And look at this. They're just going to literally hold vision around Baron because they've got Kindred as well as Tristana, who will tear it apart if they get left alone.
100%. There's no banners, though. Kuden's actually going for Knight's Vow. Hasn't opted in for that one this game. So, means if they do pick that one up, it might be harder to end the game, but Dream holding 1v3 right now under the turret. Sitting on 2 items on the Tristana. Got a lot of kills and a lot of gold on the back end of that fight.
I feel like this game, the banner isn't the biggest deal. It's still a win more item, but I feel like Bomber's wave clear sucks.
Yep.
So, I mean, they're not going to clear a normal Baron up creep.
Yep, so...
and sure, 14 seconds is a Baron up creep, solo on a turret, but it's only 30 seconds for a Baron one, and if you can't kill it, it's just going to sit there for 30 seconds.
Yeah, so Sin actually going to start this one up. They pushed out the mid-wave, don't care about top.
Something Kindred can do that no other champion can do is actually just stop herself from dying to Baron, so she sneaks it very well, because she can use the ultimate. However, they don't use that interaction. They just bring over Dream, they bring over Kuden, they sneak that one 21 minutes in. Beautiful play from Sin.
And that is exactly it. I feel like thinking more about this spell piece on the Kassadin. If he can win...
Oh, actually he's being tagged up. Has to riff, walk away. Does the ultimate come out? No, Sleeping. Still pushing bottom lane. They disengage.
Trader doesn't actually pull the trigger there. But if he's 1-3-1 and has pressure in the side lane, then Sightstone is so good. He can play that so safely, can ward up for himself, can apply so much pressure. But if you're behind... what do you do? He can't get access to the Baron. He wants to be in a side lane. His wards don't really mean anything. If he doesn't have pressure, he can't push out of his base. So.
It's not only that. Sure, if you're a Zed, you need to have a safe split push. Kassadin's a safe split pusher because he just flashes on a 2-second cooldown.
Yeah, true.
So, once again, I'm harping on it. But I do get frustrated, especially over builds. Because builds are not something... in my opinion, there's like a right and a wrong build in a lot of situations because they're mathematical. No, this is actually true.
Oh, what?
I don't care what you have to say about it.
No, I think something that is incredibly underused is builds based on state of the game.
Yep.
And how, like, Barons, you can sit on that Aegis, and then if you win a fight and you get Baron, like, you opt in for a banner instead of block it.
Sure, but what I'm saying is there is a correct time where you build Void Staff or Death Cap.
Oh, okay,
because mathematically, they do more damage. Sometimes people say, oh, it just feels better. I'm like, no, that's not how items work. They give you stats, and stats hold a mathematic value.
Yeah, they do. You know what feels real good, though?
What?
Attacking
Attack
real
speed,
fast.
Yeah, see?
But Sin right now with the Baron, that's 2 turrets, 2 inners, mid lane and bot. They're looking for the bot side. Rosie's looking for a
They
flank.
really don't have any wave clear. So how do they get on top of this cannon creep? Even though there's nothing like a banner to really buff it up, the Rift Foot walking forward, Dream took a lot of damage for no reason.
But I'm honestly surprised Luch is still around here. He has the spellbook. Just put TP, take him into a side lane. You might drop this turret anyway, but it's not like he's going to stop it from falling.
No, it certainly does not. It does fall down, and Praedyth has an idea that he wants to take more, and the rest of the team says, no, we don't. So they're going to have to put him into a Realm War.
Ooh.
He actually just ulties back.
Can he take that? Is unstoppable? Does that mean that he can't be Realm War? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Dream wants the red buff, but Juve says, mate, it's a buff. You're not getting it.
Picks that one up, so it will be their second Earth Drake. Already had that first one that was relevant, to be honest, when they took away that Baron. They did it very quickly. Bombers kind of knew that they were on the Baron, but they didn't really have any sort of control. They had no vision, couldn't get there in time. That's something, when you don't have vision, checking the Baron isn't just about the time it takes you to walk from A to B to the pick. You kind of have to tentatively throw a Q in a bush, check the bushes very slowly, kiting back and forth in case they're sitting in there baiting. You don't want to die. But then, on the lineup I've seen, if they're just literally whacking away at the Baron, they take it down almost immediately.
And that's what we were saying, like things like Sejuani, I mean, you expect them to be really tanky, but when you fall behind, junglers and supports have notoriously been bad solo tanks because they don't have guaranteed income. We've seen this game, Seb's done a very good job of securing the camps he can. However, he has been counter-jungled pretty relentlessly. So you can see full item behind, full level behind.
Not to mention, you don't just get counter-jungled by the enemies. In the early game, sure, but if your team falls behind and you have a Kassadin, he's like, mate, Seb, you're sitting on components for a Randuin's, but like, who cares? I need my Lich Bane. So Luch starts taking them away.
Also, as a support, you're like, I've got 3 stacks for this wave, guys, and then Luch walks up and one hits it with an E.
I hate that. When they don't give you relic stacks, they also gave supports extra attack speed when proccing it to actually be able to get the creeps. Does Luch actually opt in for the recall? He does. That's questionable at best, to be honest. Sin aren't going to stick around. They already got the inhib. It was too low. He could have potentially just pushed that wave in.
Didn't take it again because he hit his recall button. I was getting really excited because that's something I learned last week. Dream's going to go back. They see it. So now they're just going to chase, and he has to ult and get the heck out of dodge. Juve's still going to be chased down by Luch now. Flashes on him, looking for him, and I feel like this is a situation where you just have to question the recall out of Dream. In flashes Rosie. However, now he's going to take a lot of damage. They do successfully disengage. Yeah,
not even Dream, though. But don't actually TP to the top wave because Kassadin pushed that in for so long, but he didn't commit to the play. Didn't look to take down the turret, so Bedonk's like, look, I'm going to save the turret, pick up this enormous wave. He TP's top, Dream bases, no damage. Luckily, Juves can just put enough distance between himself and the flying ninja.
But I feel like if you're 4-man unit and you've got a buster shot, you've got ways to disengage, they can't flash from Luch and try and pick up a kill. It's just a perfect storm right there. Juve's going to go towards a Black Cleaver. I thought it was going to be Trinity Force last game when he had a Fargate, but it's going to be the Black Cleaver.
A Fargate?
Yeah.
Is that the...
that's the correct pronunciation.
Oh, okay. Like Nami?
Yeah, like
Nami. Like Talia?
Hey, Talia is actually correct.
Like full AP Alistar? Is that how you pronounce that one?
Yeah, that is how you pronounce that one.
I think you pronounce that one. It's pretty easy, actually. It's kind of monosyllabic. It's like bad, you know? That's how you pronounce that one. But Sin...
Says the Nash's tooth.
Okay.
Andrew's bard player.
Mate, don't even... You want a 1v1? Full AP Ali? Actually,
yeah, I will actually take you.
That's a bad matchup. I don't care. Like, I take it back. I shouldn't have challenged you. Once again, Sin in control of the game.
AP Ali at work. I had an 80% Alistar win rate.
Have you seen
season.
my full AP bard?
Is it 80% win rate?
Probably not, because...
Then I don't want to hear about it.
I play in Challenger solo queue.
Yeah, I play in Brick solo queue.
But I'm going to go for round 3. Sin, once again, in control of the game. 7,000 gold lead. Baron spawning in a minute and a half, and they just have so much control topside. There's that one ward over into the river the Bombers have to kind of see around the pit, but it won't actually see Sin if they're doing the Baron.
But at the same time, it's also not going to live for that long. So you can just this is what we say, that you don't actually have to control vision. You just get your pink wards down, and then you just deny vision. Because they're going to have to face check eventually.
They will expire.
And you can see Sin not really pushing up past river. They just want to continue to control this area. And now what Bombers have to do is they have to actually... Oh, actually, Luch gets caught out there.
He's low.
Goes very low, has to burn the cleanse. I was going to say, now what you have to do is try and push up mid lane and gain control. And because they're sitting in your jungle, you don't know where the Scion is. You don't know where the Tristana is. They're very easily able to start team fights.
But I feel like Praedyth grouping at this stage is just too early. Sleeping's going to be able to push this one in if he wants, but no, he's looking for a recall. Potentially has a giant spell or something, looking towards his next item, but...
I also feel like they would trade bottom lane right now, because it's inhib for inhib, for the Baron. Because they think this Baron will win them the game, is what their current train of thought is.
Kuden is actually building towards the Banner of Command. Praedyth already got himself a locket, but...
Give him some creeps. Oh, actually, they're being caught out on the top side of the map. Juice goes very low, however, uses the ultimate. Luch now going to go back in, however, he goes into a doorman. He gets stunned up, and Juice picks up another kill.
And that's the earlier pick. Burning the cleanse on the Kassadin means he can't get out of that CC, so he goes down. Seb, not to mention very low, looks to walk back to base, but they know they have to contest the Baron because it might be game if
and
not.
Now they're going to have to face check. In jumps the Tristana. Door goes up. Goodbye, Sleeping. And now Sin will just turn towards the big purple worm.
And it looks like desperation coming out of the Bombers. Sin looking good right now. Rosie is around the pit. Seb very late. Very late contest there.
That is a yikes.
Didn't have vision in the pit, but
I mean, he felt like
pings.
he had to do it. You can see right now, Praedyth can potentially teleport to that huge super creep wave, try and end the game. Instead, they just play it very standard, pushing in the last 2 remaining waves. Tiger's going to have to deal with the Nexus turrets, to be perfectly frank. And I don't know if there's anything the Bombers can do now.
Luch is up right now, did just spawn, but the tank line for the Bombers is down for another 15, 20 seconds on the side of Seb. So ulti comes out trying to clear out some of the wave, but that's 2 inhibs down. Will it be 3?
Yeah, it certainly will be. I mean, that turret's already so damn low. You can see 50% health. Luch trying to go in onto Juves. However, cannot risk continuing that. Mid lane turret goes down. They successfully disengage. In goes Tiger again. Luch is trying to follow, and Dream just turns around and starts whacking away at them. Sleeping now with the ultimate coming out from the shed will get pushed out. And they just want to continue this fight. You can see Praedyth and the rest of Sin kind of had different ideas.
Yeah, looking for the engage there in the choke. Thought they could potentially pick that one up. I mean, it makes sense. You have the front line and Sion. 2 80 carries to just sit there and whack people, but they think it would be too much of an overreach there. They just want to back away. Praedyth luckily doesn't have to burn the summoner. Is just able to walk away, so...
Take himself a tempo Drake. You see Dream also going to take himself a Scuttle Crab.
Does Kuden have Banner? He does. He has enough gold with the Baron fight with those extra gold from the assists.
Doesn't matter.
Probably not.
I don't know.
They already have 2 inhibs. One of them actually spawned in the bot lane, but the base is completely open. No inhib turrets. So it might just make it easier to end out. You think with a 10,000 gold lead, you have a Tristana and a Rise in the late game, approaching 30 minutes, and Kassadin really hasn't been able to set up any form of split push.
Kassadin hasn't been able to set up any form of anything.
Has he placed a ward?
I mean, surely.
Somebody has to check that and like scroll through. Cause
he's up in vision score, 37 to 24.
Yeah, maybe. Because every time I've looked, he hasn't, but... I mean, I haven't just been looking at Kassadin's items the entire game, so...
Yeah, Rosie looking for a flank here. They know they have to hard engage. That inhibitor will fall down. And they just exit stage right, potentially. Do they take the Banner minion to the bottom lane with the Rise portal?
Yeah,
no, they don't.
Does Benoit choose to take it down?
In they go onto the Rise. In goes Sleeping as well. Gets a 4-man ultimate. But you can just see Dream free hitting on the back line. And that is so much damage coming out of the 80 carry of Sin. He hops in. Juves also continues the chase. He's got 2 turrets whacking away at him. However, look how much damage the Kindred does at this stage of the game. He hops into the fountain. He really wanted that one. And I feel like at this stage of the game, you just turn around, you focus the Nexus turrets, flash forward out of Dream. He's just going to be one shot. It feels bad, man, but it's 1-1.
He ruins his KDA. Burns the flash there, but as you mentioned, equalizing the series. Jules is popping off. I can hear him through the wall. He's absolutely popping off right now.
I think he felt like he had the pentakill. I think he was screaming at them, give me the penta, man.
And nobody frontline for the Kindred. He's used to being the frontline, you know? He would have done it for the boys.
He is.
But
He's
the boys
still talking to Bedoink about it, by the way. He really wanted Bedoink to go into that fountain.
Instead of the fire up for Dream, it's going to be Bedoink going into game 3.
Well, the fire up worked.
Yeah.
Juves absolutely was a different man that game. We saw game 1, the Kindred looked not good, useless. And then game 2, the Kindred was pumping out damage in that last team fight.
Yep, 100%.
She's a feast or famine champion, to be honest, and I think we've seen both sides of it now.
Yeah, she scales well with those marks if you can actually get them. That game obviously had about 7, I think, ish, for like 20-something minutes. So game 1 had almost none, to be honest, had like 1 or 2. Game 2 had 7, was able to get those successful ganks off. So not just being able to counter jungle. You mentioned the Kassadin with the tank. Like the carry versus tank jungle matchup was potentially played a factor there. And then the greedy pickup, not to mention the greedy pick in the Kassadin, but the greedy item build with the Spell Thieves that didn't kind of...
It just didn't come
mean
online.
Anything. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, I love Cassidy. I'm really a fan of champions like Cassidy and Viger that, like, they just bad without items. But then as they start accruing items, they just become unstoppable as the game goes on. But I feel like with both of them, you have to kind of play towards that play style.
Yeah.
You can't play a sack more play style.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, I feel like that is kind of what happened. And then Sin took advantage, honestly. They played well overall. And once they got the Baron, once they were able to secure some objectives, just really tightened up the play and then ended the game.
Yeah, and I think that Sin, once again, we said that this is going to be their patch. Once they got that lead, normally they don't have clear ways to close out the game.
Yeah.
However, with both Baron buffs, they showed a much better grasp on that.
Yeah, not to mention it's just the lack of vision being able to contest. If you're a team that's behind, it's just so hard to actually set up vision to contest these objectives, and it just does make a team like Sin, who kind of struggled that transition, it makes it a lot easier to prepare that setup and just secure the Baron, secure the win, things like that. Yeah.
They're coming for the throne. So let's throw it over to Laura and Aaron to break that game down further.
Thank you very much, guys. Sin able to take game number 2 in this series. Juve's pep talk earlier after game number 1. Doing work for the team. Choo-choos, you no longer need to worry about looking like a fool for liking the Kindred pick. Juves has your back. He was confident enough to pick it back up today.
Yeah, I mean, if you do come to an OPL game with like a cheese pick, it is embarrassing if you don't make it work, especially if you don't make it work twice. Like, the fact that he picks it again is quite bold. It also takes a bit of courage to do that after having quite a not a very so good first game. But yeah, he made it work. He played very well. But I would link that to the mid lane matchup as well. I think Bedoink playing the Ryze was a lot nicer. The Kassadin does help as well because obviously Ryze is a champion that wants to just roam and gives Kindred a lot of pressure to just take over the jungle, and that's what we saw this game.
Kindred did do much better in this game, especially with Bombers opting for Kassadin, and we got to see Kassadin's downfall in this clip.
Yeah.
Choo-choos, are you able to walk us through it?
So this clip is essentially, we see that they're sieging top tower. Sleeping takes a bit too long to leave the tower, so they engage in him with Brawn passive. Kindred does a lot of damage at this point. I think she had 7 stacks, which is very good due to a very good early game. Unfortunate Q to the face, Juves goes down, but Bedoink juggles the tower perfectly, knows just how tanky he is, gets out just before he dies. I think that's just the perfect amount of hits that he needed to take, and off that fight, Tristana ended up going 3-0-3, and I think Tristana at that point was the win condition, so she just carried the game. And obviously, we got to see the Banner of the Commands at the end, which we're all looking forward to.
Do you think that the game probably would have ended a bit quicker if they would have built Banner a bit earlier on?
Okay, so like it's a hard thing to recognize because it gives 60 armor, 30 magic resist, which is good stats. But the if you're versing a top laner like Na or someone who has a lot of auto attack damage, you don't really want to build it, which is why they didn't build it earlier. But when you know that you're probably 5, 6k, 7k ahead and you're going to get the Baron, then you can probably look to start building it. But when they did get it, you could see how Bombers were forced to, we need a fight, because if we don't fight, this thing's going to kill the Nexus. So, yeah, I mean, I would like to see them build it earlier, but then again, I can't blame them for it because they versed a auto-attacking champion in top lane.
I want to also go back a bit and talk about Bedoink in particular, because in the past few weeks, he's really stepped up and been showing all the doubters what he's made of. And I want to ask you what your opinion of him is as a mid laner, and also because you were talking about his different play style on Azir versus Ryze and how he was able to put much more pressure on the map as Ryze.
Yeah, so Azir is like a sentry turret. You just want to, like, we talked a bit about it in the last talk that we had, and that Kindred Azir is you just sit him and he just stabs people while Kindred ultimate keeps him alive. But the issue with Azir is that he doesn't really want to leave lane. He played into the Corki. Luch had just a great performance. He might look to play that one in the next game. But obviously, if Sin alter their draft, maybe they can take it away. But if you do have something like the Ryze, it 99% of the time guarantees you will get lane priority. And he got lane priority that game, rotated with Kindred a lot, and took over bot lane. And then, I mean, if you're the bot laner Bombers, you're not very happy because you have a Kindred and Ryze in your lane while the Kassadin is farming. So Bombers really needed everything to work in their favor to pull off the Kassadin pick.
After game 1, we saw Sin in the gaming room after the game had finished, and they didn't look particularly happy. Jake said that after the game, he heard Juves giving a cheeky little pep talk to the team. So I wanted to ask you, as like a player and also a coach, how important is it to get all of the players to mentally reset, and how do you get them to mentally reset?
Yeah, it's a hard thing to do. It's a lot easier when you're back home because you're in a practice environment. But when you're on game day, emotions are very high, tension's there. You can say you're not nervous, but you probably are a little nervous. You just don't know. So after losing the first game, I think Juve's like every team really needs someone like that, and it is a coach's job because we're not playing. Like we're sitting behind them, we're watching everything. We need to be there to comfort them. But Juves is like one of the very few characters in OCE that can provide like that kind of morale boost. So he's a gem. He's definitely great to have on a team.
He definitely is a great person to have on a team. We're going to see if Bombers are able to mentally reset though as we head to a break. When we get back, we're going to have game number 3, the decider between Sin and Bombers.
Nice flash tag from Kuden, as well as the ultimate. Kuden, take a bow. That is perfectly played. So much damage. Big ultimate coming across as well. In-drum stream, able to get the reset. And now all of a sudden, where are you going to go, Zeb? Has to flash away. Dream again goes forward. Tiger able to pick up a kill onto Juve. And they just cannot take him down. No, eventually they do. Bedoink is still taking up the turret. Dream jumps in. Another reset achieved. And Sin absolutely whooped their bomb. Well, actually, they're being caught out on the top side of the map. Juice goes very low, however, uses the ultimate. Luge now going to go back in, however, he goes into a doorman. He gets stunned up, and Juice picks up another kill. And now they're going to have to face check. In jumps the Tristana. Door goes up. Goodbye, Sleeping. In they go onto the rise. In goes Sleeping as well. Gets a 4-man ultimate, but you can just see Dream free hitting on the back line. And that is so much damage coming out of the AD carry of Sin. He hops in. Juves also continues the chase. Flash forward out of Dream. He's just going to be one shot. It feels bad, man, but it's 1-1.